everyone, and welcome to another video by The Collaborative Teacher. In today's video, we're going to look at some of the basic features you can add to your Google Slides to add more functionality. First of all, remember to always name your document so you can find it later. We're going to name this one Basics because that is what we're looking at today, is the basics of Google Slides. So when you first open a Google slide, you'll see the different themes down the side. I generally don't like to use these themes because I like to format my slides how I want them for each slide, but these are a great way when you're starting out. The upside of using themes is that it can take some of the work out of thinking about how you want to format your slides. And you can still alter the text, you can alter where everything is placed, and you can add all the extra things in that we're going to look at soon. And you can change the background. So if you like the format of the theme, but you don't like the color, you can always change that. The downside is that you cannot change the images. So this one here has got a couple of little images on it. You can't delete those and you can't change their color. And same goes with this one. You can't delete any of that or change the color for it. And that is the theme that you're kind of stuck with unless you go to insert a blank slide. The upside is that when you're working with a theme is that there are lots of varieties that you can use, but that only works if it is the scheme that you want, because generally what you see is what you get. We're not going to look too much at backgrounds in this video, as we do have another video that focuses only on backgrounds. Anyway, I generally start with just a blank slide when I'm starting all of my slides. That way, like I said, I can format it. I can put in my backgrounds, whatever I want the backgrounds to be. And again, you can watch our background video to find out how to do that. So I start with my slide and I build it up with my backgrounds, my texts, images, audio, and videos to suit my purpose. So first of all, we'll start by inserting a text box. So generally you can make your text box as wide as you like it, but vertically it will always snap back to just one line. However, once you start writing in it, it will go down vertically as far as you need it to be. You can resize your text boxes and you can put them wherever you like on your page. If you want, when you click away from it, you can't see that the text box was ever there. However, if you want to be able to see that, come up here to this pencil, choose what color you want your text bordered in. And you can also choose how thick you want that line to be. So anywhere from just a really thin line right up to a big solid line. And then obviously you'll want to adjust your text to make sure it actually fits within that. And you can move that where, like I said, you can move it wherever you like on your page. Okay, so the other thing you can do is you can add shapes. There is a whole bunch of different shapes you can add to your page, and you can generally change their color. So changing the fill color, the line color, and again, the line thickness. Some of these shapes you can insert, such as the arrows, you can actually write inside of them. So they come with text boxes included. So you can write on here whatever it is. So maybe you want them to read this information first. And you can resize it as however you want it sized. And using this little, so if you have a look around all of your images, it's got this line around the outside, all with squares, and the squares are where you can resize your shape. And then it has a line and this dot. That dot is to show you how you can rotate it. So you just click on the dot and pull it to wherever you want to, whichever way you want to rotate your shape. And that goes with all shapes. You can rotate them all to be however you'd like them to be on your page. And that just allows for extra functionality to move everything around where you need it to be. Images can also be added anywhere on your slides. So you've got the option, you can either insert and then image and choose from the list here, or you can click on this little box here, which is the insert image box. You can choose to upload an image from your computer, search the internet for one, use Google Drive, Google Photos, by URL or by using your web camera if you're wanting to take photos. So we'll do a search for the web image, and let's say we want to use a blackboard. So we find an image that we want of a blackboard, click on it and go insert. And it'll generally just choose a size and a place for it to be inserted. You can choose to make it bigger, make it smaller, and move it wherever you like on the page. And then you can add a text box over it and do writing on it, or whatever you like to do. There's also lots of format options with our images. Size and rotation isn't something that I generally use, maybe flip, which is great. Really, if you've got a picture, an image that has a person in it. So let's go ahead and insert an image with a person. And if we put in person. Okay, let's say we chose this image. And inserted it on our page. So it's facing one way, and you could spend forever looking for an image that is facing the other way if you preferred for it to be looking to the left rather than to the right, or you can just come over to here in your format options, size and rotation, and down to flip. And there we go, it's now facing the other way. You can also use a 90-degree flip, or like I said, you can use the dot at the top to rotate it how you want it. Coming down to Recolor, it'll give you some options sometimes that you can choose. That's not always the case. You don't always get options, and different options are available for different types of images. Adjustments, so you could make your image a little bit more see-through, a little bit brighter, or you can change the contrast. The only one here that I really use is the transparency one, especially if I'm wanting to put my image behind other things. You can also use a drop shadow. And we'll go back to this image for this. So if you choose the drop shadow button, you choose what color you want your shadow to be. And then the distance is how far away from the person, from your image, do you want it to be. Okay. So that's further away and closer. Angle is where on the page you want it to go in relation to your original image. We'll just get rid of the drop shadow there, and we'll go down to have a look at reflection. So reflection works similar. I'm just going to move it further up my page so we can see it a little bit more clearly. On this one, the transparency is the same as image. Okay, but it also does adjust your image as well, not just your reflection. Okay, transparency affects just your reflection. And distance is how far away from your original picture does the reflection start. So lower down, it's closest, further away. And then size is how much of the image do you want reflected? Do you want the whole thing reflected or just part of it? Okay, so that is images, and you can move them wherever you like on your page. Like I said, you can resize them. Okay. Next thing we're going to look at inserting is video. So we go up to insert and video. You can insert videos straight from YouTube by searching it in here, from the URL link if you know what it is, generally also YouTube. Okay, you can't insert Vimeo. So a lot of videos are made using Vimeo, especially for like how to do things, teacher tutorials, that sort of thing. Those can't be inserted in Google Slides using this format. Or you can upload straight from your Google Drive. So we're going to go back here and we're going to search for a video on maybe magenta sight words. Okay. A whole bunch of different videos come up. We'll choose this one and we'll insert it into our video. So there's a whole bunch of options here. You can choose when it starts to play. So do you want it when you click the page? Do you want it to play automatically when your page comes on? Or do you want it to be manual? So you have to push the play button on your video, which is the one I generally choose. You can also choose to have the audio muted. So if you found a video that has a whole bunch of background noise, background track, or you're wanting students to make inferences into what is being said based on what's in the video, you can choose to mute the audio. And that way, no matter what the students do, they actually can't hear the video. Again, you can change size and rotation if you want to. Not really relevant with a video because you can actually just change it manually by moving it that way. But if you do have a specific size you need it to be, you can do that from there. Position is not really relevant for this. It doesn't seem to actually move it on your page, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. And again, drop shadow. Not sure why anyone put a drop shadow on a video, but you can if you wanted to. And then that will play right from your slide. So wherever you've chosen to put it, students can access it and play it. You could have it as the only thing on your slide by making it nice and big, or you could have it smaller and students can play it and enlarge it from within the video. Okay, so moving on to what else can be inserted. You can do word art, which word art in Google Slides is quite limited. So you put in what you want to write and it just puts it up like that. You can then you just change everything the same as you would with normal fonts. So you change your font, you can make it bold or italics. You can change the fill color or you can have no fill color, and you can change the outline. And again, you can change the weight of the outline and you can move it wherever you like on the page. This page is getting a bit full, so we might just open another one and we'll take our word art over to here. Okay, so there's not too many options of how you can change this. You could add drop shadow like we could before, and you can add reflection. But in terms of actually being able to change the shape and things like that, there is not a lot of options. You can add diagrams. So if you are wanting to create spreadsheet, timelines, grid patterns, all of those sorts of things, they can be done through here. You just choose which one suits, and then you can fill in the data in there. So good if you're working with family trees, or if you're wanting kids to make flowcharts or anything similar to that. Things that show cycles, life cycles of animals, anything like that. We'll open up another blank slide. Okay, you can insert charts. However, you do need a data source. So generally your data source would be sheets, and you'd have all of your data stored into a Google Sheet, which you then want to put into some sort of a graph. Great for teaching children how to do statistics digitally. And choosing, so they could choose either a bar graph, column graph, line or pie chart. And this is what it will look like. So you would just choose your source and it will set it all for you, obviously making sure that your parameters are the same. There's not too many editing options with this. You can insert a table, and just like you do with any other tool, you choose how you want your table to be, what size you want it to be, and then you can resize it. And just like with all other Google software programs, you just write straight onto it, and you can edit font size, all of that sort of thing. You can change your line color, okay, either box by box or by selecting the whole thing. And again, you can choose your weight of your lines, or you can choose to have your lines dotted, whichever it is that you prefer. If you want to add any extras to your table, you go Format, Table. You can insert rows, insert columns, delete rows or columns, and the distribute rows and columns is to make it so that all of the ones you've highlighted are an equal width and height. So the last thing we're going to look at is adding audio to your Google Slides, which is great for giving students instructions that they can listen to help keep on track or help them work through slides independently. You can use it to add audio tracks of stories that you want students to read, or you can add music or any other audio. The one important thing to note is that all audio must be in your Google Drive. If it's not in your Google Drive, you won't be able to add it to your slides. So to add audio, go to Insert, Audio, and it will automatically choose the files from your drive that are audio files. So I've only got one, which is the Ready to Read book, A Good Idea. So you just select and it will insert into your slide. And you can move that wherever you like. So maybe you've got a picture of the book and you want to add that to it, then you can do that. You can resize it the same as you would any other image. Really limited possibilities in what you can do with this. So again, you can choose for it to start playing on click. So meaning when the students click on it, it will start playing, or play automatically when the slide comes on. I generally leave it with on click, and down here with stop on slide change, which means that when the slide changes over, the audio will stop even if it hasn't finished. I don't often choose loop audio, which means once it gets to the end, it starts playing again. So the Recolor option is kind of your only option for formatting the look of it. Really basic, being able to change the color. You can also add a drop shadow if you want to. Okay. And you can add a reflection, although again, I'm not sure why you'd want to. Drop shadow maybe to make it look better, up to you. And just move it wherever you like on the page. And that will be there for students to listen to the instructions or the story or whatever it is that you've inserted. So that is just some of the basics of things you can insert into Google Slides. I hope that helps with anything that you're needing to do in the future.